Hello everyone, this is the Master Chief 1, and welcome to my Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 3, Let's Play Longplay, yeah, whatever, anyway. Hey, it's the Banana Brain Kitty, what do you think you want? See that riverbank race? I ran that in 1 minute 15 seconds, you couldn't beat that. What? You can't beat my time? I held that record for the last 2 years running. You made me so angry I could! Anyway, this is as you see, this is Brash, and pretty much one of Bizarre's fellow brother bears. Anyway, hello there, everyone. This is the Master Chief. This is the Master Chief 1. All you ever do in these games is shoot this or jump on that. Why don't they make games about knitting? Well, they eventually will make a game. When crossing the jungle, remember to look left, right, and then up for falling monkeys. Well, actually, Wrinkly Kong, they'll eventually make a game about knitting. Anyway, this is the Master Chief 1, and welcome to my Donkey Kong Country 3. My Donkey Kong Country 3 Let's Play Longplay Part 2 on Tufst Mode. Anyway, just like with springing spiders, we are once again introduced to yet another awfully tough and annoying level on Tufst Mode. Anyway, remember when I said that, remember when I mentioned that Ellie the elephant can suck up water with her trunk? It's pretty cool. She can actually blast the water back at enemies and destroy them. It's pretty similar to, and I have to say, it's pretty cool to that of Squidder the spider for the most part. However, there is one disadvantage I gotta say about Ellie the elephant compared to that of Squidder the spider is that she actually doesn't have as accurate of aiming when she's jumping, unlike that of Squidder the spider, disappointingly enough. And that's the reason why we gotta stay out of the water now, because now we're introduced to another rip-off enemy that's similar to that of a Snapjaw called a Bite Size, which are pretty much just which are pretty much supposed to be like that of a freshwater variety of piranha fish. Anyway, I was being such an idiot when I was trying to do this. Actually, I should have just stood still and aimed up in order to get in order to be able to unlock the bonus barrel challenge. But thankfully enough, I did it right that time. As I mentioned before, one of the things that red buzzes are vulnerable to are TNT barrels. This is actually far more challenging than you might think, considering for some stupid damn reason, Ellie can only place 2 barrels in the fucking water, and the other one she might be standing on later, for some stupid damn reason, disappears. I mean, what was Rareware thinking? I mean, seriously, if they would allow Ellie infinite chances of placing barrels in the water, this level would not probably be nearly as fucking irritating. Oh, why didn't I just suck up the barrel and take down the red buzzes, for crying out loud? And wasted so much time. Oh, come on, just do it already. Instead of being a moron like this. as you can see, they're trying to put at least a little bit of challenge into this. Yeah, challenge into getting the coin, but pretty much still not that hard. Yeah, that's actually pretty surprising. I would have expected to see a bite size in that pool, like we've been experiencing in many of these different other random pools when it comes to this forest environment. Anyway, if you're curious, I mentioned this in Donkey Kong Country, and yes, I have experienced forest type environments before. One thing I gotta say about Donkey Kong Country 3 is, I really wish the text wouldn't move so fast at some points, so that way I can read it a lot more effectively. Especially if there's a lot of conversational bits. I mean, Rareware should have just slowed that down so people could easily read it. Yeah, read it all in time. Yes, another disadvantage about Ellie the elephant is that she can't actually dive underwater, so that's pretty stupid in my opinion. But thankfully enough, the bonus barrel challenge was a piece of cake that I just did. And I gotta say, probably the easiest bonus barrel challenge in all of Donkey Kong Country 3. And unfortunately, I do not time it very well when it comes to jumping on the barrels. But thankfully enough, I did it right that time. And yet again, another level bites the dust. Anyway, the next we are going to be soon being introduced to the next boss, and I really do not know why I didn't go into the secret cave area for Kremwood Forest. But oh well, I can go back there, easily go back there. I'm pleased to say. Anyway, this boss is not actually as challenging as that of, oddly enough, Belcher the Barrel. As long as you just use Dixie Kong and Keeper, this boss battle's not actually hard. Just take your time with this, and wait until, let's see, a Rich. There you go. Wait until a Rich, the giant arachnid spider, which I have to say is really awesome, by the way. By the way, we're actually facing up against a giant spider as a boss battle here. Wait until he lowers his chin down, and keep Dixie Kong, considering her barrel holding position is actually the best use when it comes to taking down this boss. I find that actually beating most of the it is easier to beat most of the bosses in this game with Dixie Kong. Oh, I gotta dodge that freakish bouncy spit of arachnids, and I'm pretty much on the final hit count for him, but I gotta be a little bit more smarter when it comes to dodging that spit. But thankfully enough, I'm thankful enough, pleased to say that I beat him. Okay, you might be wondering what the patch is useful for. Well, I'll show that off very soon. But first, we're gonna talk to another brother bear. I've been watching your progress for a while, Kongs. The name's Blunder, but you can call me Mr. Blunder. So you think you're gonna find everything in the game, eh? You don't even know about the Lost World. Whoops! I just let the cat out of the bag. Yes, you did, and now you know why he's called Blunder. Anyway, we go back to Funky's Rentals because, awesomely enough, Funky Kong can give us an upgrade for our bow. A patch? Oh yeah, this is just what I needed. Hang on just for a couple seconds, Cogs, and I'll give you a cool new tub for you to rub-a-dub-dub. Take it real easy, Kongs. Yes, and now we have a hovercraft, which is really awesome because it allows us to now drive over rocks now and reach some new areas of the some new areas of the Isles. As we try to repeat another Simon Says pattern, but unfortunately fail again. Will I succeed this time? Thankfully enough, I repeat the pattern correctly this time. As we're gonna save. Shush, Kongs! I'm on my last life and you're gonna break my concentration. Aren't you gonna give your favorite relative a goodbye kiss? If I were Dixie and Kitty Kong, I wouldn't have minded giving Wrinkly Kong a kiss. Because she is kind of like she is really a distant relative for Dixie and Kitty Kong. Hello there, Kongs. How are you? My name's Blue. Pleased to meet you. I get lots of posts, you know, but it's all bills, not a single card. Now, you might be wondering, why is Blue the bear, which is pretty ironic, I gotta say, so blue? Well, did you see the calendar? It, sadly enough, it looked like nobody remembered about Blue's birthday. So, yeah, I have to say that is pretty disappointing, to say the least, that, you know, it's Blue's birthday and nobody remembered to give him a present. So, yeah, I mean, I would be pretty disappointed, too. Yeah, especially somebody forgot my birthday also. But as we'll figure out, that's not actually the case. Anyway, I love, in my opinion, how the beautiful coral-type levels that were in Donkey Kong Country return in this game. However, yet again, we experience another ever frustrating underwater level, as we have to experience a whole consistent amount of groups of new Barracuda enemies called Bazas. Yes, Bazas. Anyway, these Bazas will consistently come out of these coral holes and be quite a pain in the ass to deal with when it comes to this underwater level. If it wasn't for these Bazas, this would not be such a challenging level to get through on Tufst Mode. And I wouldn't have lost a Kong member. Trust me, trying to get to the bonus barrels for this level are really annoying, to say the least. I mean, it's pretty obvious where they're hidden, but I'm just saying it's really annoying. Sorry you didn't really do Wrinkly Kong's voice correctly. I guess I had something in my throat. Yeah, I sounded a little too much like Cranky Kong. Thankfully enough, now we have On Guard the Swordfish. However, you have to be wary. Unfortunately, very frustrating enemies that are down below On Guard the Swordfish, or might accidentally hit him in the back. And I'm not joking. You gotta be careful about that. I'm not joking. Right here, it's probably best to charge. Yeah, charge with On Guard so you can be able to dodge those annoying Bazas. Or oddly enough, Barracudas. Which I don't know why they're colored green. I mean, in a guidebook, they're actually colored they actually have the color of what real barracudas are colored, and that's pretty much a silveryish gray color. And unfortunately, I get so close to the damn end of the level, and I die again. And yet again, I die. Jeez. Thankfully enough, I am very pleased to say I got through this with both Kong members this time. Thankfully enough, getting the coins not nearly as challenging. And yet another level down. Now, if you're curious, I actually have seen a waterfall before, also. Yeah, I actually have seen real-life waterfalls before, and I have to say they are so beautiful and awesome. And I gotta say, this is one of the best soundtracks I have ever experienced within this game. Anyway, this level introduces another new enemy, which is pretty much just a rip-off to that of Crunches and Crunches and Crushes from that of Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2. The new type of brute enemy are called Crumples. And as you can still see, Dixie Kong cannot take down a Crumple without a barrel. However, Kiddy Kong actually is more like Donkey Kong in this sense that he can actually kill off Crumples by jumping on top of their heads. Anyway, I'm happy to say this level isn't nearly as challenging as that of as that of the two other levels we experienced. However, the level does start to get surprisingly a little bit more challenging. Yeah, challenging once we have to use Ellie the elephant. Or I might be thinking about the next waterfall level. And I said the next waterfall level. As we're trying to time it correctly to avoid those buzzes. Man, such a lovely soundtrack when it comes to this level. Yes, it's best to switch to Kiddy Kong whenever you see a Crumple, and to hopefully have him. But if you don't, you're gonna have to try to do some well-timed jump glides with, with Dixie Kong in order to get past them. As we're smashing on some knick-knack paddywhacks, give a dog a bone. Yeah, knick-knack paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Oh boy. Knick-knack paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Yeah, give a dog a bone, or give a crimp a bone. Bone, this Kong came rolling home. Or that cranky Kong came that cranky Kong finally went home. Oh boy. Surprisingly enough, knick-knacks aren't nearly as tough as those click-clack beetle enemies we experienced in Donkey Kong Country 2. And yes, I finally got it right when it comes to the certain Donkey Kong countries that the enemies and the items and whatnot appear in. Anyway, you're gonna have to really time your jumps correctly, especially if you want to get especially if you want to get 3 lives with that of Dixie Kong here. And unfortunately, I don't time the stupid jump correctly. And I really got annoyed with trying to keep that stupid Perry the Parable Bird. Oh yeah, which I have to say Perry the Parable Bird is actually the most useless animal buddy in the game. But I'm pleased to say, as you just saw, that if you jump on a Crumple's head with Dixie Kong, she doesn't actually die. Anyway, I was thinking about the next waterfall level when it came to Ellie the Elephant, right? But this level is not nearly as tough as the last level we had experienced. Or Baza's Blockade. It still has challenges, you can see, but it's just not as hard as Baza's Blockade. Another bonus barrel challenge that's actually not very tough to complete. It's actually quite fun. These rocket barrels really rock, I have to say. Really funny play-on-play words. And yet again, that's another bonus coin down. If you're curious why I sometimes hesitate with my speech sometimes here and there, I sometimes just get distracted or I worry about something else. And you might be wondering, what was I worrying about in the last couple of Donkey Kong Country parts? Well, I was concerned that my brother was going to be coming back and, you know, interrupting my video or something like that. Anyway, this is one of the very few coin challenges in the entire game that's actually pretty tricky in order to execute. But you see that barrel right there? You're supposed to time the throwing of that steel keg barrel well enough in order for the coin to lift up his shield, so then you can get the DK coin from it. Well, from him. However, as you can see, you gotta really time the throw precisely when it comes to this. And I prefer not using the blast barrel, considering it's a little slow when it comes to trying to get over there in time in order for the coin to raise his shield enough in order for you to kill him off. Anyway, this was so annoying, I tried to do this with Kiddy Kong. But I found out it's not nearly as simple with Kiddy Kong as much as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I wasted a lot of time here, but I can't help it. Trying to get this coin is actually one of the most challenging ones to obtain in this game. Considering the challenge, I'm pleased to say that Rareware put into this. Yeah, put into this one. Anyway, you might be wondering, well, why don't we just try to throw the barrel and then it bounces off to the other side to hit the coin? Well, as you can see, there's just pretty much nothing but a wall that the barrel rolls past, and you pretty much can't go past that point for some reason. Oh, this was so annoying. It really was. As this wasted so much time. Anyway, I thought long and hard about this, and just like one of my most common viewers when it comes to Rareware games, G-Man Rocks. G-Man Rocks. I have to agree with G-Man Rocks when it comes to this probably being the worst Donkey Kong Country game. I mean, don't get me wrong, this game has so many different advantages compared to that of the other two Donkey Kong Country titles. However, considering all of those disadvantages that I mentioned in the previous part of my Let's Play Longplay, that's why I have to say this game's not as good as the other titles. I'm glad Cranky doesn't know about this new console. If he did, I'll never be able to get it off of him. Yeah, that would be a problem when it comes to single-player games. When crossing the jungle, remember to look left, right, and then up for falling monkeys. Anyway, Wrinkly Kong, have some fun. But fun within your house and cave. Anyway, this level actually is a real blast. And I mean that in more than one way. But what I mean is, it's fun. This level's actually quite fun. As long as you keep Dixie Kong and just use her for this level. That's right. Just keep Dixie Kong and make sure not to die with her. And this level's not actually bad at all. Anyway, you're going to be introduced to a new type of enemy, and I love this enemy. This actually isn't as challenging of an enemy as you may look. But this enemy are called clasps. And pretty much they're the total opposite of that of clingers from Donkey Kong Country 3. And why are they the total opposite of clingers from Donkey Kong Country 3? Well, as you can see, they're actually explosive TNT barrel enemies that climb on horizontal ropes. Yeah, you heard me right. They are explosive TNT barrel enemies that climb on horizontal ropes. It's best to be Dixie Kong for this, considering that her gliding capability will actually make getting past these enemies a whole lot easier. It makes this level real fun. Oh yeah, this level, as long as you're Dixie Kong, is a real treat, and isn't as bad as you may think. Unfortunately, I was an idiot and didn't realize about the secret blast barrel that could have taken me over to the other blast barrel, and in order to be able to complete the bonus barrel challenge. And you might be wondering, did I get through this with Kitty Kong? And thankfully enough I did, but getting through the rest of this level is not nearly as easy. I must admit, if you happen to lose Dixie Kong. And unfortunately I fell into the water and got killed off by the stupid bite size. And yes, that's one of the biggest reasons why it's best to keep Dixie Kong for this level. And thankfully enough, I was able to keep her. So then this level is not as big of a pain in the ass. And I'm really pleased they give you enough vantage height in order to take down the recoils. However, in later levels, clasps are actually a little bit more challenging due to the positions that you have to deal with in order to dodge them. Well, Wrinkly Kong later on will definitely Wrinkly Kong will definitely later on if she were to have lived that long. And yes, that's a spoiler for Donkey Kong Country 3. If she would have been able to live longer, she would have been able to experience the game of Kirby's Epic Yarn, which actually includes yarn. Ironically enough, as people know, yarn. So thus, it wouldn't be a complete game about knitting, but at least I think Wrinkly Kong would have enjoyed it, considering it's not a game. Not a game about shooting and stuff like that, compared to what most video games are nowadays. After all, it's kind of strange. It's really strange, in my opinion, how Wrinkly Kong was able to predict the future when it came to video games. Anyway, this is another really awesome level, and I really think Rareware did a great job when it came to this level, as you're actually experiencing a bunch of awesome types of barrels. And I think these are my favorite types of barrels within the game. And they are. They're really cool. They're called, these barrels are called tracker barrels. And what makes them so awesome is that if you blast out of them, they actually auto-target you when you're moving. Thus, you can actually land right back in the barrels, which is really cool, I have to say. Yeah, really awesome. Thus, it's a lot easier to dodge enemy obstacles in this level. So overall, I have to say that waterfall levels and pier levels in Donkey Kong Country 3 have to be some of my most favorite levels in the game, considering that they were so well constructed by Rareware. Anyway, I have to say it is so awesome when you're blasting out of barrels that Ellie the elephant has so much better aim when it comes to shooting the water. Yeah, out of her trunk. And I mean the water out of her trunk. Oh, I try to take down all these ever-annoying knickknacks, but unfortunately, I continue to hit a couple of stupid knickknacks like an idiot. Oh, will I be able to succeed this time? I really do. Hope I do. Oh. And thankfully enough, I was able to do it. If you're curious how I lost a Kong member, it's just that sometimes trying to get back and get into that bonus barrel challenge, as you saw, is a little bit of a pain in the butt. But I love how Ellie the elephant can take down Crumples though. That is really cool. But I'm not joking when I say that Perry the Parable Bird is probably the most useless animal buddy I've ever experienced in the entire Donkey Kong Country series. I mean, Ellie is really a close second, but she's not nearly as useless as Perry the Parable Bird is. Anyway, you might be wondering how did I lose all of my lives and stuff? Well, that's another real disappointment and kick in the pants. I have to say when it comes to the Donkey. Yeah, yet again when it comes to the Donkey Kong Country series, indefinitely. Yeah, indefinitely, and that's pretty much that if you quit your game, you still start with a certain amount of lives instead of it saving the amount of lives that you've received previously within the game. However, it doesn't do. I'm very pleased to say they did fix that Donkey Kong Country 3 did fix one problem that the other game had. that the other games possessed. And this time you can actually save all the bear coins that you've collected. That saves all of the bear coins that you collected previously. So I have to say that's really cool in my opinion. Anyway, it's important to keep that steel keg barrel and time it right. Otherwise you won't be able to. Yeah, otherwise you won't be able to obtain the DK coin for that level, and you'll have to start it all over again, which is a real pain in the butt in Tufst Mode. Anyway, this is my favorite underwater level in Donkey Kong Country 3. And why is it? Well, we get an awesome little animal buddy. And yes, he is a bite size, but don't let that fool you. Awesomely enough, as long as this bite size is stays blue, and as long as you continue to feed him cocos, as you see, he'll actually stay really nice and calm. And it's really awesome how he actually kills off the cocos for you in this game. Yeah, in this level. However, he does have a couple of disadvantages. If you wait around too long to feed him, he actually gets impatient with you and kills off one of your Kong members, and you'll know exactly how long it will be until he gets impatient with you, considering that if the bite size becomes light brown, that's some time for some caution right there, considering that he might start to try and bite you. Anyway, the thing that makes this bite size angry is as you can see, if he eats a lurchin, or in other words, pretty much just a rip-off reference to that of a real life urchin. He doesn't actually like eating the urchins, and the only reason this bite size doesn't like to eat off urchin enemies is because of their spiny exteriors. Yeah, I said interiors previously, disappointingly enough. Yeah, disappointingly enough, where I should have actually had said exteriors in the previous part. I really love that burping. That's pretty funny when to hear that from the bite size. Anyway, it is actually important to keep both Kongs when it comes to the end of this level, considering that without both Kongs you can't get the coin in this level. And what I mean is the DK coin. Anyway, that's why I tried to take into consideration those urchins, because one of the pathways is hiding a bonus barrel challenge. As I gotta say, this bonus barrel challenge is really cool, as we just use our awesome bite-sized friend in order to eat off and eliminate these cocos. Oh yeah, this is a greatly designed bonus barrel challenge, and I gotta say to Rareware, well done. Yeah, yes, I decided to complete the level considering like I just mentioned that I mentioned previously, we need Kitty Kong in order to get up there and get the DK coin. So I just decided to cut to when I actually kept Kitty Kong for this level. Thankfully enough, when you get up here, killing off the coin isn't nearly as hard. And yet another level completed. Anyway, I always think it's a... Anyway, on toughest mode... Oh. How do you like my new hairdo, Kongs? I just had a new banana rinse. Banana rinse. If you bump into Cranky, tell him to stop wasting his money on Swanky's bonus games. Well, that's pretty understandable. That's actually pretty understandable of why Wrinkly doesn't want her husband to waste his money so much. And the only real thing that makes this boss battle actually hard is that you gotta time your jumps correct. You have to time the jumps correctly with Ellie the elephant. I have to say that when it comes to dealing with Squirt the crab, which is actually what this enemy is. He's supposed to be a crab. This actually isn't as this boss battle is actually not as challenging as the Game Boy Advance version of this. Why is this boss battle not as hard as the Game Boy Advance version? Game Boy Advanced version, you may ask. Well, in the Game Boy Advance version, this boss battle actually lasts longer, and he pretty much starts to shoot out two jets of water eventually at you. So I have to say, happily enough, the Super Nintendo version of this boss battle is actually a lot easier than that of the Game Boy Advance version of this. But I will say one thing, this boss battle is a lot harder to beat than Rich the Spider and Belch the Barrel, though. And unfortunately, I don't jump in the right position to avoid the watery jet thing. Unfortunately, I did not jump over the jet like I was supposed to. Anyway, it's pretty obvious how to, as you can see, how to kill Squirt. Yeah, Squirt the crab here. However, if he is a crab, I really wonder where in the world his appendages are. That's all I have to say. Yes, and for beating the boss, we actually get a ski. Now, if you're curious, what is this ski useful for? Well, we actually need to complete the next level in order to be able to go back to Funky Kong and get an awesome new boat upgrade. And here's the next Brother Bear.
Ah, hello there, Kongs. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Bramble, the famed botanist. The most beautiful flowers used to grow around here, but they died back when those horrible machines came.
And what does he mean by horrible machines? Well, remember when I mentioned that the Kremlings have a lot more intelligence now? Yes, that's right. The Kremlings now have the intelligence to create big factories. And you might be wondering, what in the world are they even doing at these big factories? Well, they're actually creating some kind of chemicals. What the chemicals are, I have no idea. As with anybody else. Well, actually, never mind. They're not creating chemicals. They're actually creating mechanical machinery in these factories. Now that I remember, right? Which is why you see these you'll see these big welding vats right here. Anyway, you might be wondering, what are those two new types of enemies? Well, the first new type of enemy that you've been seeing are actually just a rip-off enemy to that of the porcupine enemies from Donkey Kong Country 2. And this time they are hedgehogs called Bristles. Yes, they are hedgehogs called Bristles. And the other enemy that cannot be killed off, they are awesomely enough, they are owls with big glasses on that are actually holding cannons, as you see, that are actually called mechanoses. I'm not joking you. That's what those owls are called, mechanoses. Yeah, they're one of the only few enemies in this game that don't have a K title when it comes to the enemy type for them. Anyway, it's actually important to keep both Kongs for this level, otherwise you can't get to a bonus barrel region. However, I unfortunately didn't use Dixie Kong like I was supposed to and glide down here and glide down to this area correctly. And that's a real disappointment, I gotta say, when it comes to bonus barrel challenges. They don't allow you to get back your Kong member on toughest difficulty mode. And unfortunately, I gotta say, I really hated Rareware when it came to this level because I really would have loved to have been able to play as my favorite animal buddy, which awesomely enough returns again in this game called Squitter the Spider. And as I mentioned in Donkey Kong Country, in Donkey Kong Country 2, why do I love Squitter the Spider so much? Well, he's so awesome. He's got such great when playing as Squitter the Spider, you have such great aim when it comes to shooting off awesome web-like projectiles. And not only that, those awesome web-like projectiles allow you to avoid several gaps, and allow you to get up to higher structures within the game in general. So I gotta say that is really awesome, and definitely. Thankfully enough, I was able to keep both Kong members, and that's pretty much because I didn't have to waste my time getting that
that other bonus, completing that other bonus barrel again. As this will be kind of an enduring challenge in order to collect all the green bananas when it comes to this region. And another bonus coin bites the dust. Anyway, I have to say, dodging the Mechanos' cannon blasts are not nearly as challenging as you might think. All you have to do is time it quite well, and you'll be good. Anyway, I have to say that this coin challenge is actually a little bit more harder. But still not that challenging. You might be wondering to yourself. In Toughest Mode, do most of the levels start to get a lot more challenging, like that of Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2? Well, in reality, I have to say that the answer to that is really no. Yeah, that's right. No. Most of the levels later on in the game, they're just not nearly as hard. Don't get me wrong. They'll have some challenging areas, but they're just not nearly as tough as that of some other levels in the game. Morning, Kongs! Brigadier Bazooka here. All present and correct, I see. I fought in the Crimean War. Don't you know? But I retired from my service to pursue Big Bessie. Who's Big Bessie? She's only the greatest cannon I've ever had. Have you seen Big Bessie? I haven't fired her for years because I haven't had a reasonable I haven't had any good amount of ammunition for her. Yes, that's right. So that's right. As you can see, Bazooka, who is actually, by the looks of it, a revered general retired war general when it comes to the Crimean War, oddly enough. When it comes to the Crimean War, oddly enough, which I didn't even know in my honest opinion, there was even a war back then between the Kremlings, the brother bears, and the Kongs back then. Which is actually quite interesting, and actually brings out some historical lore when it comes to the Donkey Kong Country series. And people might not know this very well, but Cranky Kong was actually the original Donkey Kong. That's right. The Donkey Kong that we know of now is actually Donkey Kong Jr., or in other words, the son of the original Donkey Kong, actually. Anyway, I showed off a level that if you're low on lives, you can go back to and self-obtain. Anyway, welcome to a unique pipe level. This level's not as challenging as I make it out to be, oddly enough. as this is actually a pretty simple, straightforward, straightforward slide through it type of level. But the reason I went back and got more lives is that, of course, I didn't want to experience the game over sequence when it came to toughest mode in the game. However, trying to get to the other bonus barrel challenge, it's not nearly as hard. And I'm pleased to say that completing this one is not nearly as much of a challenge as the other bonus barrel challenge was. So yeah, this is not too hard of a level. This is a pretty straightforward level, I have to say. And even beating the coin isn't too hard. But I have to say, it is really awesome that we're actually traveling through sewer pipes when it comes to these types of levels here. Anyway, this has been the Master Chief 1, and I will see you all later in my next Donkey Kong Country Let's Play Long Play part on Toughest Mode. So I'll see you later, and goodbye.